Hey everyone, Mah-Dry-Bread here. Pokemon Platinum with only one slacking was a hard one. Let's follow that up with a fun team run. Today's the day that I figure out, would I be able to beat Pokemon White with a team of only version exclusives? Also, I'm petting Sabu while doing this voiceover right now, so hopefully you can't hear that. Now, you've probably already seen the Pokemon Black exclusive run. This is the Pokemon White one. Like before, we only have 3 Pokemon plus a legendary that we get right at the end. And yeah, Patilil isn't exactly an exclusive because there is an in-game trade for it, but we count it as one because it can't be caught in the wild, and this run would be real boring if we only had 2 Pokemon most of the run. We're gonna get Rufflet, Patilil, Solosis, and at the very end we get Zekrom for the last 2 fights. Like always, I'm writing the script as I go through with the challenge, so all of this part is being written before I've started. Everyone comment down below and guess if I can win or not. On paper, I gotta say, the Pokemon White team looks a lot better than the Pokemon Black team. I liked the other team, but this one looks really good. Let's explain the rules. In combat, I can only use the version-exclusive Pokemon. I'll need other Pokemon to use HMs, but I won't be allowed to use any of those Pokemon in battle. No glitches or exploits, no items in battle, only Pokeballs, held items, and items outside of combat are allowed. Also, if you enjoy this video, be sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell for more. Let's do this. So, right off the bat, I use the Universal Pokemon Randomizer to replace Snivy with Rufflet, so that we can do the whole run with it. Same within the Black run, I picked the non-legendary that's the farthest into the game to make the run more interesting, as only having 2 Pokemon for most of the run would be really boring. I had to reroll a Rufflet once because the nature wasn't good, but the second one was great. Naughty, so more attack and less special defense. I guess that makes us weaker to stuff like Thunderbolt, but it's a team run, so I don't think it'll be that bad. Extra attack on an already high attack Pokemon makes me think that it's going to be the ace of our team. Who knows though, it might be like Vullaby, where it's really strong early on, gets kinda weak before the Elite Four, then gets real strong after evolving again. Alright, early game travel is already just a little bit easier than in the Pokemon Black run. It makes sense, Vullaby was more of a tank, whereas Rufflet is a fantastic attacker. I have to say, I have a really good feeling about this run. Yeah, we have that always hard normal gym ever looming in the early game, and it's probably not going to be easy in this run either, but overall, I think that we could be in for a somewhat fast run. I figure the early Charon and first gym fights are going to be easy, right? As expected, we literally didn't take a single point of damage at the first Charon fight. You might wonder why I even show this fight considering how often it goes this way, but we have had a few solo runs in the past where this was difficult. The first gym went awesome too. It wasn't quite as easy and we did lose a lot of health, but we actually managed to overpower him despite being a lower level, outnumbered, and in spite of his healing items. I'm really loving this Rufflet so far. Fun Pokemon. Now at the Charon fight on the way out of town, I actually failed the first time thanks to instantly getting burned. That was really unlucky, but the second try went just fine. We got Wing Attack early in the run, so it's been a huge help. Not many Pokemon this early in the game have a move that strong. Not that it's amazing or anything, but 60 power is for sure better than stuff like Peck. I mean, unless it's Gen 1, because then Peck and Wing Attack are straight up identical moves. How wild was that? Okay, so things are going to get a lot harder. We have the N fight, then the usually brutal normal gym fight. Again, the normal gym is a real issue for 2 reasons. One is that our first Pokemon has Intimidate, so our attack is going to go down, and we're a physical attacker, so that might really cause issues. And 2 is that she uses Retaliate with her second Pokemon, instantly doing tons of damage to us the moment that we get into the second half of the fight. She doesn't always do that though. Sometimes you luck out and she uses Hypnosis or Leer a bunch, but I think she mostly just does that if she thinks that you have too much health and defense to get a one-shot. I could be wrong though, the AI is probably a bit more complicated than just that. Let's go take out N real easy, then we can see how hard the normal gym is. Wow, so I knew that N wouldn't be too hard, but I didn't think it'd be this easy. We swept him by critting the first 2 Pokemon, then his third one was a fighting type, so it couldn't handle Wing Attack in the first place. I guess the game just wanted to speed things up so we could go lose to the normal gym. Well, I grinded to level 20, gave the gym a try, and it went awful. Takedown does so much damage to us, and Intimidate really weakens us. We knocked out Herdier, but it was just because Takedown's recoil damage finished it off after we already fainted. Even if we somehow took it out, we would still have gone down to Retaliate, so we're not anywhere close to a win. Worst part is that we're an entire 8 levels away from learning Slash, our next best move. We just have to grind a lot. Hey, well, would you look at that? We actually took out Herdier early thanks to a crit, so we didn't get too hurt. Then as Watchog came out, it made the classic mistake of using Hypnosis instead of Retaliate, missing, then using Retaliate on the next turn when it wouldn't hurt us nearly as much. That got us an early win. I'm really thankful for that, because otherwise I was thinking we'd have to get to level 28 for Slash. Hey, it's time for our first catch, Patilil. Ours is quirky, so neutral stat gains. I've got high hopes for this thing. It's a solid special attacker. Just like with Cottony in the previous run, I'm gonna have to level it to level 35 to get Energy Ball, then we'll get a Sunstone to evolve it. There's probably no use in leveling it up too much right now since we have the Bug Gym coming up, but I figure that won't be a problem thanks to already having a Flying type. I'll get an experience share on it right away, and just swap it out with a Miracle Seed whenever it's actually an important fight. Let's see how the Bug Gym goes. Well, we took a little bit of damage from Smackdown, but obviously we still took out his whole team easily. I figure the rival fight could be harder. Let's try them. Then we can catch our last Pokemon till the end of the run. After that is Bianca, and we didn't take any damage until near the end of the fight when Muna hit us with a single Psybeam, so she was no problem. Then there's the Charon fight where we have yet another very easy fight. The Sandstorm wore us down over the course of the fight, and we actually did lose quite a bit of health by the time we were done with Liepard, but we were still never really in any danger of losing. We got hit a few times, but I don't think we would have fainted unless we got very unlucky with crits. Hey, it's time to catch our last non-legendary, Solosis. This is our Gothita counterpart, and it looks great on paper. Our nature gives us more defense and less special defense, kind of a lateral move. Overcoat is kind of a cool ability, we take no weather damage, although Magic Guard probably would have been nicer. All I care about, though, is that we become a super strong special attacker once we fully evolve, so I'm pretty pumped for that. Let's go see how N goes. Then I will definitely have to grind before the Electric Gym. So first is N, and although he's pretty easy, he does hit us hard with some of his Pokemon. We lost half of our health to a Fire Punch early in the fight, and Sigilyph was very weird thanks to a Whirlwind dragging Solosis in, but it was still reasonably easy. I mean, Solosis fainted, obviously, but we still won. I think that I'm gonna need to do a very long and serious grind before we stand a chance at the Electric Gym, though, so I'll have to go do that. Okay, a couple of hours later, and I'm at the Electric Gym. Obviously, they're just spamming Volt Switch like always, so I'm having Solosis hit Psyshock. It's nearly a one-shot, so we got one of our Emolga to just use 2 Hyper Potions early, but Solosis still went down. Rufflet was nearly a one-shot, who only got 1 slash in, and Patilil just went down quickly to Aerial Ace. You know what? We're 2 levels away from evolving Solosis. Let's try it again. I bet the next try will go much better. So I grinded a little bit more to get Solosis to evolve into Duocean, and it went much better. Not sure if I'm saying that right. Look, I'm trying. We're both much tankier and can actually one-shot the Emolgas. I still don't take any chances with Zeb's Strike Up by sending in Patilil to use Sleep Powder and Leech Seed, as it just used Quick Attack instead of the Flame Charge I'm pretty sure it has. I actually thought that we'd be just dealing a little bit of damage until it one-shots us, but we actually ended up taking it down in a few rounds with the Patilil. That was easy. Of course, after all of that, we had an easy time with Charon. Rufflet alone was able to take down his whole team with more than half of our health left. It was no problem at all. Okay, with that done, we have the Ground Gym and a Bianca fight coming up. I figure the Ground Gym won't be too hard thanks to having grass moves, although you never quite know with Excadrill. Then it's a Bianca fight that's usually not that tough, although we have troubles with it from time to time. I'm actually pretty happy with my team, though. If we didn't have to grind so much for the Electric Gym, then I'm sure we wouldn't win these fights, but I'm pretty confident that they'll either be first tries or something close to it. I might have to get Patilil up to level 35 so that it can learn Energy Ball, then I could give it a Sunstone to evolve it. We'll have to see, though. It might not be necessary. So first at the Ground Gym is Krokorok, and although he was still using potions to stay healthy, we easily took him out with Mega Drain. He tried to confuse us with Swagger, but we have own tempo, so we can't get confused. As Excadrill came out, we seeded him, but we were obviously getting really messed up by Rock Slides. We got a Mega Drain in and got his health down a little bit, but we fainted and had to send in Duocean. Psyshock wasn't doing much, and his slashes really hurt, but the Leech Seed made all the difference, letting us finish him off with a little bit of health left. As Palpitoad came out, we got taken out with Muddy Water, so I thought it might be over. Thankfully, Rufflet's slashes did a ton of damage, and all Palpitoad was using was Aqua Ring, so we won fast. After that was Bianca, but other than Takedown hitting Patilil really hard, it was an easy fight. Patilil was able to stay alive just through Mega Drain, and Musharna at the end ended up not doing too much damage to Rufflet, so it was a first try. With that done, we have N, the Flying Gym, and Cheren again. Now, N could be kind of annoying because of his tanky steel types, but I don't think we'll lose, and the Flying Gym might be harder than normal, but at the same time, it usually ends up being easier than I expect. Cheren could be a problem, though. Just because it hasn't been too bad up to this point doesn't mean that we won't have troubles the next time. Usually if Cheren is going to be an issue, it's around this time when he starts getting difficult. We'll see, though. I might get a lot of levels by the time I get to him. Now, I don't know if you can hear it. Rocky is now in my lap and purring loudly. Let me see if I can get my microphone over to him without him moving. Oh, nope, never mind. He got spooked by me moving the microphone near him with the crane arm. Oh, man. Nope, he's out of the room now. Okay, so N was overall pretty easy, other than Gear Grind on Clink being quite the meat grinder. I always forget just how dangerous that move can be, so we lost Patilil a lot earlier than I was expecting. Maybe I gotta do a Clink solo run, actually. That could be fun. Anyways, that means we had to rely on Duosion against Steel types. Not a fun matchup, but we still won pretty easily. Next is the Flying Gym, and it starts alright with Swoobat taking huge damage off Fly, forcing her to use Hyper Potions. I ended up just using Slash a few times to finish her off, although we lost half of our health in the process. Unpheasant was next, and it was a bit harder using Leer and then Quick Attack twice to bring Duosion from full health to a sliver by the time it went down. Last is Swanna, so I tried Patilil, but we pretty much instantly went down, so I had to send in Rufflet to finish it off with some slashes. We dropped to super low health, and this was much closer than most Flying Gym fights, but it was still a win. Oh, and the Cheren fight that I was worried about? Borderline a sweep. We hardly took any damage in the whole fight. Maybe I've got to stop worrying about him. Alright, so the Ice Gym is coming up, and although it's almost always easy, I kind of think it might not be this time. We don't have a type advantage for once, and in fact, we're weak against his team this time. We're also falling behind in levels a bit, and probably won't have a level lead by the time we get there. I might need to grind before we can win, and I'm not sure if that's ever happened before, but I guess we're about to find out. Alright, so I go to the Ice Gym at the same level as them. Right away, we put up a light screen so that he moved from Mirror Shot to Astonish. We did some alright damage, but had to recover to stay healthy. Eventually, we were able to take him out after healing most of the way back up. Beartick was second, and Rufflet was able to do some good damage but got one-shot, so I had to send in Duosion. It confused us pretty early, and although we did good damage, he healed and we hurt ourselves, so he finished us off. But Patilil obviously couldn't take a hit, so we party wiped. I'm gonna go evolve Duosion and Patilil, since they're both really close to where they need to be. So I gave Duosion a Lucky Egg and grinded it up a few levels to evolve it into Reuniclus, and although we still got confused and hit ourselves, we had a much easier time with the fight. Focus Blast was hitting his team really hard, so we were able to nearly sweep him. Reuniclus actually landed with 1 health against Triagonal, and ended up fainting before we could finish him off, but Rufflet's Fly won the fight, so we still got our win. It was close, though. We're getting close to the Elite Four, just our last rival fights and the Dragon Gym left. I figure the last Cheren fight might be hard, but I'm not too worried about Bianca. I'm not sure about the Dragon Gym, it could be a bit close, but I also think it could be a first try. I made sure to pick up the TM for Shadow Ball on my way through the Desert Ruins, because I'm pretty sure that I'll need it for the Elite Four, but I guess we'll find out later. On our way there, though, I took the Plume Fossil. I knew that if I didn't say what I took, you'd all ask. Actually, now that I think about it, everyone asks anyway. Comments are good for the YouTube algorithm. After that was the last Bianca fight, but it was all very easy. It took a little while because Musharna stalled us by putting us to sleep, but we were never in any real danger of actually fainting. Super easy fight. Will the Dragon Gym go okay, though? So first is Fracture, who is just a one-shot with Psychic, but second is Drudagon, and it's much tougher. We were hitting kind of hard with Fly, but he kept healing. We were taking damage from Rough Skin, and he hit hard. We ended up fainting and having to send in Reuniclus to finish it off fast. Last is Haxorus, so I sent in Lilligant to Leech Seed it and deal some damage, but he started spamming Dragon Dance instead of fighting back, so we just put him to sleep and finished him off easily. He probably should have kept attacking instead of switching to Dragon Dance. Last is Charon, and it starts great, as Unpheasant was going for Razor Wind, so I just flew so that he'd miss. He used Taunt right after, so we took him out without getting hit. Next is Embor, so we hit Fly to nearly one-shot him, but his Flamethrower did one-shot us, so we had to have Reuniclus finish it off with Psychic. Problem is, we got hit by a massive Flamethrower first, though, so this isn't good. Liepard is next, so I had to switch to Lilligant, but we just learned Petal Dance, so I one-shot him with that. Last is Simisage, so I sent Reuniclus back in to use Psychic, but we got one-shot by Seed Bomb before that could happen. It's just down to Lilligant versus Simisage, and although Energy Ball was doing okay, I guess, we were at a speed tie, so sometimes we go second. I ended up switching to Petal Dance, and although we were still getting hit pretty hard, we ended up hardly winning. That was really close. It's crazy to think that the previous Charon fight was so easy, and this one we borderline lost. Well, we're almost at the Elite Four, and I kind of think we're just gonna lose to all of them. Maybe we're ready to take on Marshall's fighting type team, but even then, we might need some luck with Stone Edge missing. It's pretty normal that we get to the Elite Four and just lose to all of them in Gen 5, though. Gen 5's Elite Four is pretty tough, despite having less Pokemon than in your average Elite Four. Plus, Rufflet hasn't even fully evolved yet, so I don't see us winning until it does, but I'm trying my best to get experience on it to at least get close. Now that we're the Elite Four, let's take a look at our team. I mean, I do like my team, and I do feel like we're in slightly better shape by this point than we were in the Pokemon Black exclusive run, but I really don't see us winning yet. Make your final guesses on if we can win this or not. Let's do this. First is Ghost Trainer Chantel. So it started alright with Cofagrigus and Reuniclus trading Shadow Balls for huge damage. We won because we were faster, but we did take a ton of damage. Second is Jellicent, so I sent in Lilligant to use Energy Ball, taking it out pretty easily. The problem is Chandelure's next, and it was so strong it could one-shot my whole team. The only one on our team that was faster was Lilligant, but of course, our Grass type isn't going to beat their Fire type. Hey, maybe we could get Sleep Powder and then switch to Reuniclus? It would need to stay asleep for 3 attacks before we could get a hit in, but it might not take too many tries. Yeah, alright game. I'm taking the hint. I tried 6 times and Chandelure woke up as soon as I switched every time. We finally got 1 try where it stayed asleep for a second turn, then it woke up anyway in the 3rd turn and took us out. I'm just gonna try Grimsley. Second is Dark Trainer Grimsley. So first is Scrafty, so I used Rufflet to hit Fly. I was hoping for a one-shot, but it wasn't, so we ended up losing almost half of our health before we took it out. Crocodile is next, so of course I switched to Lilligant and go straight for Energy Ball. We one-shot him, but he was actually faster than us and crit us first, so we were pretty beaten up. Next is Bisharp, so I sent in Reuniclus to Focus Blast, and although it one-shot him, we nearly fainted to a Night Slash. Last is Liepard, and I really thought I had this in the bag, but our whole team is hurt, and she outsped and finished all of us off one by one. Man, that is brutal. I really thought I could win that one. Third is Fighting Trainer Marshall. Right away, we fly to dodge Stone Edge, hit hard, then the second Stone Edge hit us to bring us down to only 11 health. He used a full restore while we hit Aerial Ace, then we hit Fly to take him out. I mean, I'm happy we took him out, but we almost fainted. Sock is next and outsped us and took us out with Retaliate, but that's okay. I just wanted him to waste Retaliate on someone who wasn't going to survive anyway. Reuniclus tanked Stone Edge to hardly get hurt, dropped him to a Sliver with Psychic, while we healed with Recover, but then we got crit to go down to low health. I had to use Psychic to finish him off, but now we have only 5 health left thanks to Stone Edge. This really isn't going well. Next is Mienshao, who's faster than us, but thankfully missed Rock Slide, so we one-shot him with Psychic. That was pure luck. Last is Conkeldurr, so I switched to Lilligant to hit Sleep Powder and Leech Seed. We missed 2 seeds in a row, so he woke up as he got seeded and hit us with a Hammer Arm, but we put him back to sleep, then switched to Reuniclus and finished him off with Psychic. Hey, at least that's a win on a member of the Elite Four. That's nice. Fourth is Psychic Trainer Caitlyn. First is a Reuniclus mirror match, but ours is doing a lot better, taking hers down in 2 hits with Shadow Ball as all she's using is Thunder. Musharna's next and is not quite taking half of its health and damage from Shadow Ball, so I ended up switching after the first one so that I could send Lilligant in. Right away I put her to sleep, hit Leech Seed, then started Petal Dance. It actually knocked her out, so that went great. Sigalith was next, and I went to hit Shadow Ball, but it was faster, so we went down instantly and had to send in Rufflant, who ended up getting one shot. All that we had left was Lilligant, but of course it nearly gets one shot. We put it to sleep, but that didn't stop us from being doomed. That means Sigalith has super effective moves against our whole team. Okay, here's what I'm thinking. Rufflant needs to be level 54 to evolve. Let's rare candy the team up to 54 and then start trying again with Caitlyn. Alright, next try after getting the levels, and things start even better with Thunder missing so we don't get hurt. And against Musharna, we can just two-shot it with Shadow Ball, meaning that we've got most of our health left. Sigalith is next, and it still outspeeds us and hits Shadow Ball, but at least we got one in too. She then uses a full restore, but we hit another Shadow Ball. Yet another full restore, another Shadow Ball, then we went down, but at least we're making more progress. Our newly evolved Braviary was easily able to finish it off. Last is Gothitelle, so I didn't take any risks. I had Lilligant put it to sleep and Petal Dance to easily two-shot it. Feels good to get another win. Back to Chantel, and we got burned right away by Cofagrigus, but we still two-shot it with Shadow Ball quickly. Out to Lilligant for Jellicent, and Petal Dance brought it to an absolute sliver before we took damage from Shadow Ball. That's fine, that got her to use a full restore before we got the one-shot on the next round. Chandelure is next, so I sent Reuniclus back in to use Shadow Ball, but we got hit first, making us faint. Back out to Braviary, and we're faster, so I just hit Fly for huge damage before getting Fire Blasted down to low health. We finish it off, but we're pretty hurt. I sent in Lilligant back in to deal with Golurk, and Petal Dance just one-shot it. That's another win. Okay, last was Grimsley, but it went pretty much the exact same as before, but we're faster than Liepard, so we could easily take it out with Braviary. Isn't it crazy how 4 levels can be the difference between losing really badly to 3 out of the 4 Elite Four members and reliably destroying all of them? Man, Braviary rocks. With the Elite Four down, all that's left is the final 2 fights with N and Ghetsis. First though, we have to catch our legendary Zekrom. I heard people say that Zekrom is a lot better than Reshiram, and honestly, Reshiram was really underwhelming when we got to use it, so I'm hoping that Zekrom really is better. Then again, having a nature with low special defense might just make us faint to Dragon Breath. I can't help but worry that we might just have a dud Zekrom, you never know. First for N, right away we luck out paralyzing Reshiram with Dragon Breath. He full restored to remove it, but we instantly paralyzed him again, and he was fully paralyzed, so we hardly got hurt taking him out. That went so well. Vanillux is next, so I switched to Reuniclus, and try my luck with Focus Blast. He made it hail, but we nearly one-shot him. He got us with Blizzard for great damage, as we finished him off. Caracosta is next, so obviously I sent in Lilligant. Energy Ball took him to a sliver, he missed Stone Edge, and the hail finished him off. That went great too. Kling Klang was next, and I didn't know if it was the real one or not, so I stayed in to use Leech Seed, but we got one-shot by Flamethrower first. That told me it was the Zoroark, so I sent in Zekrom and used Fusion Bolt, knowing it should be a one-shot. We got hit hard first, but it went down. Next up is Archeops, and I figured that it could probably finish off Zekrom, so I switched to Reuniclus instead and used Psychic. We got hit first by Acrobatics to make us faint though, so I had to send in Braviary. Problem is, Stone Edge one-shot us. This is bad. I had to send in our heavily wounded Zekrom, but we lucked out. He missed Stone Edge, so we one-shot him. Maybe we stand a chance? Last is the real Kling Klang, so I hit Fusion Bolt for big damage. His Thunderbolt obviously did just about nothing to us. Then we got a Fusion Bolt in again to get the win. That was so close. Last is Ghetsis, and right away we ended up critting a Petal Dance to take out Cofagrigus. I guess I put this Pecha Berry on for nothing. Out to Reuniclus to deal with his Hydreigon, and his Dragon Pulse hits hard, but our Focus Blast nearly takes him out. He full restored, and we hit him again, but then we got taken to only 5 health and missed a Focus Blast. Not only that, but he Focus Blasted us back to take us out. He got so lucky. I had to have Braviary finish it off, but we lost most of our health in the process. Out to Zekrom for Bisharp, and I hate that I can't just Focus Blast it, but Fusion Bolt did do a good job. His Stone Edge didn't hurt us too much. Buffalant is next, so I sent in Braviary to use Fly. We missed though, and got taken out right away. there was only a 5% chance of that happening. Out to Lilligant, and I just used Petal Dance right away. We nearly feinted a head charge, but we did take him down. Second from last is Seismitoad, so I stayed in and hit Petal Dance to one-shot him, and last was Electros, so I sent in Zekrom, knowing that we're nearly immune to electric moves. Our slashes didn't do a ton, and he crit us with Crunch right away, but despite that, we still won the Strike Exchange eventually, taking him out on the 4th hit. It wasn't easy, but we won. That was a fun one. I think the Pokemon White team was probably better than the Pokemon Black team, although we were reasonably even this time. It's gonna be fun to do the Black 2 and White 2 exclusive runs in the future. They're gonna have much bigger teams to work with. I really hope you guys like that run. The next Pokemon Challenge should be up next week on Saturday like usual, with Pokemon Yellow with Erica's team. It's actually one you guys picked in a poll on Patreon for the first time ever, so that's gonna be fun. As always, I'm looking forward to your suggestions in the comments, in the challenge request section of my Discord channel, and on Twitter. Subscribe, ring the bell, stay tuned. Outro time. I'm finally getting back to streaming a little bit more because I've had a little bit more time now that the holiday season is over. I've been pretty busy this week just because I have a lot of prior engagements, but one of them, on the week that I'm recording this voiceover at least, was recording the beginning of a multiplayer Stardew Valley playthrough with my friend Leela. We've been friends for years, and she's been getting into streaming recently, so we started streaming that together, and that was really fun. That's up on the YouTube channel in the playlist section. I want to get back to doing more Pokerogue soon. I want to get back to a lot of things, honestly. I'm so busy. I'm sure if you look in the playlist section, I don't know if it'll be public yet, but it'll at least be in the playlists, I'm doing another Factorio playthrough with Truth. We did one many years ago, and that was really fun, where we were teaching people how to play Factorio, and we were doing it through Truth was first learning, and I was teaching him, and you kind of learn along with Truth, you know? But now he's more experienced at it, I'm more experienced at it, and that DLC is out that we haven't really touched. So I'm really excited for us to play that together, and more exciting for the long-term viewers of the show, I'm gonna be watching Kung Pao. Both Truth and What a Geek have been trying to get me to watch it for years, and I've been meaning to for years. I'm finally gonna watch it. In fact, by the time you're watching this video, I may have even watched it, because tomorrow, what is today? Today is the 9th of January, 2025. God, that sounds so weird to say out loud that it's 2025 now. So, yeah, we're recording Factorio, and after we record Factorio, between the first recording session and the second one, I'm gonna watch Kung Pao. It's gonna be a fun time, and we're all gonna talk about Kung Pao together. Because it's a Factorio playthrough, of course we're gonna go wildly off topic. We unofficially named that show the Sonic Underground podcast as a joke for a reason. Alright, I gotta get this edit done. I've been feeling like I really want to get these edit dones faster than I used to, because the moment I get these edits done, that means that I can get it up on Patreon even earlier for you guys. Because I want to, now that I have like that thing where it's like the earlier in the week I get it done, the earlier you guys get it on Patreon, I feel more compelled to get the editing done earlier in the week, rather than putting the finishing touches in on it at the end of the week. Because, you know, the earlier I get it done, the earlier you get to see it on Patreon, and that's kind of fun, you know? That's an incentive. So, I'm going to try and get this whole video edited today, so some of you may be seeing this on the 9th of, the 9th of January, well, the night of the 9th of January, 2025, instead of the official air date for it, which is what, like the 18th or something? Something like that. Thank you everybody so much for watching, and until next time, have a nice day.